Building Bridges, WKYC and the Cleveland Public Library celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life and legacy in Northeast Ohio.
My brothers and sisters of the city of Cleveland, I'm so happy to see you.
Breaking barriers, we honor the unsung heroes who demonstrate a passion for inspiring the next generation.
I want them to succeed. They're smart.
You have to follow your dream, your vision.
I'm somebody that cares about the planet. I'm somebody that cares about our children.
Plus, historic footage from his visits to Cleveland in the 1960s and rare audio from Dr. King himself on bridging the voting and economic gaps here in our city.
We are open to the suggestion of coming back to lead a march here in Cleveland.
Also, special tributes to Dr. King's impact on Cleveland through spoken word.
Cleveland, it's about what you do for the living.
Only on 3 News, our special presentation, Dr. King, Building Bridges, Breaking Barriers, starts now.
My brothers and sisters of the city of Cleveland, I'm so happy to see you this afternoon. You're looking mighty good and you're sounding enthusiastic. And I believe you are committed to this movement to make freedom and justice a reality for every black man, every black woman, every black boy, every black girl of the city of Cleveland.
And welcome to the annual commemorative celebration of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Laura Queso. WKYC TV is proud to partner with the Cleveland Public Library to bring you this special honoring what would have been Dr. King's 95th birthday.
Over the next hour, we'll introduce you to those who embody Dr. King's dream of justice for all. We begin with this rare footage and audio of Dr. King's visit to Glenville High School. The date was April 26, 1967. The students welcomed Dr. King to their school with a gospel song that would serve as an anthem for the civil rights movement. Dr. King would speak to students for just over 20 minutes that day. Those in attendance said it felt more like a conversation than a speech. Here's a portion of that inspirational message he delivered more than 57 years ago.
And we must not be ashamed of being black. It is tragic that American society has tried to place a curse on being black. But I want you to believe today, and I want you to go out and tell it on the mountaintop that black is beautiful and as beautiful as any other color. And we've got to believe that.
Reverend King visited 3 high schools that day, speaking to more than 8,000 students between Glenville, Addison Junior High, and East Tech High School.
I stand before you tonight simply to ask for your continued support in the struggle to make Cleveland a better city and the United States a better nation.
Building bridges, breaking barriers. It's not just a catchy theme. It is precisely what Dr. King tried to do right here in Northeast Ohio. So it is only fitting that the Cleveland Public Library is building a new state-of-the-art facility in honor of the civil rights icon. Our Leon Bibb put on his hard hat to give us a first look at some unique features serving as building blocks for the new structure.
It is nestled in a corner of one of the most important crossroads of America, perhaps even of the world, because Cleveland's University Circle is like no other landscape on the globe. More cultural, medical, and educational institutions in about 1 square mile than anywhere else. Now add another cultural gemstone. Under construction is a new Cleveland Public Library Martin Luther King branch to soon replace the old one.
It's going to be 30,000 square feet of new collections, programming, AV technology, community gathering spaces, and performance spaces.
John Lang, in charge of the library system's buildings and grounds, was part of a walkthrough of the new building still under construction. This is a $20.5 million project, part of a sweeping $100 million upgrade of all the system's branches. The new MLK branch is designed as a centering point in the Cleveland Cultural Hub.
All of these major institutions in University Circle, you like the idea of having a big footprint right here.
Well, we should, right? Cleveland Public Library as an institution is an institution at the level of our great institutions.
Often referred to as the People's University for its free access, Thomas emphasizes how the library is a storehouse of knowledge and a place of gathering. There will be a first-floor space for performances and community events. As we walk through the structure, now filled with construction equipment, visible were references to the civil rights work of Martin Luther King.
And residents are up there, right?
Next floor, exactly.
There are King's words and philosophy carved into the building's foundation. Next door is the current MLK branch, where I spoke with Thomas and library supporter, Cuyahoga County Executive Chris Ronayne about the new building and how it is inspired by the great civil rights leader.
The legacy of Dr. King remains in the city of Cleveland through the Cleveland Public Library, with an opportunity for our young people to learn about Dr. King's history for many generations to come.
Having conversations between races, people of all different faces, but people of all different age cohorts. That's something that I think we can really work on in the matters of justice.
Over the generations, libraries have evolved into more than collections of literature or videos. Increasingly, they have become gathering places.
The library itself is the community gathering space. You know, it's the foundation.
The idea is to make the MLK Library a community space in more ways than one. Above the library itself will be 9 floors of apartment living, apartments on top of the library. All of this will make this facility a gemstone in University Circle, uptown.
We've always been one of those institutions that everyone feels like they can be a part of.
Perhaps we get to know each other better because of the Cleveland Public Library.
This is Cleveland's University Circle, generations ago also called Uptown. Here things indeed are looking up. There is a rebirth as the new are being added to the old. Among the new growth in this culturally fertile soil is the state-of-the-art MLK branch of the Cleveland Public Library. It is expected to open in January 2025, appropriately on Martin Luther King Day. For 3 News, I'm Leon Bibb.
Our power does not lie in Molotov cocktails. Our power does not lie in bricks and stones. Our power does not lie in bottles. Our power lies in our ability to unite around concrete programs.
And today, one of those concrete programs Dr. King envisioned is addressing the digital education gap for senior citizens in Ward 11. Lindsay Buckingham introduces us to the first of 5 unsung heroes, keeping Dr. King's dream alive.
On Lorraine Avenue in Cleveland, doors are always open at Ashbury Senior Computer Community Center, or ASC3.
Well, we're a digital skills nonprofit organization, so we can help you with anything that's related to technology.
Technology is something program manager Gina Birch knows very well, working in consumer electronics and account management for years. Yet she knows, for so many,
they don't know what can be accomplished, or even if they do know what can be accomplished, what those steps are or where to go.
That's where ASC3 comes in, a safe place for community members, especially the elderly, to learn technology for free.
The greater Cleveland area is one of the poorest cities in the country and one of the worst connected cities in the country. So for people to have access within like walking distance, busing distance.
The instruction is hands-on.
It's essential that they're actually from the community they're going to be working in.
Here, all skill levels are welcome, whether you've never used a computer before, need access to the internet, or want to elevate your career.
So that can take a person, and it has, from borderline hopelessness to, you know what, I'm going to go back to school and finish my nursing degree.
No matter your reason for coming here, know this: it's a judge-free zone, and they're here to help.
It's a big step for people to even come through the door, and we make sure to celebrate that.
Lindsay Buckingham, 3 News.
Still to come on Dr. King, building bridges and breaking barriers. A look at King's influence on a historic election right here in Cleveland.
I didn't like books, not at all, when I was in 2nd grade. But now I love books.
Class act. This teacher is making learning fun and showing his students how to embrace other cultures in the process.
Yesterday, Cleveland made a significant step toward making America a colorblind society. The response of the citizens of Cleveland in electing Carl Stokes as the Democratic nominee for mayor was a vote for democracy and against racism.
Dr. King visited Cleveland regularly during the summer and spring of 1967 to help bridge the voting gap, specifically to support Carl Stokes in his efforts to become the first African-American mayor of a major U.S. city.
Cleveland was the 9th largest city at the time. 68% of the population was white.
Here's Dr. King on his role in helping Stokes get elected and rumors of his own political ambitions in Cleveland.
I'm not saying that this election will in any way solve all of the problems that we confront. Far from it. The slums are still a reality. Unemployment is still a great problem in the Negro community. Quality education is still a thing that we look for. So these things are still there. And Mr. Stokes, if he is elected in November, will, I'm sure, aggressively seek to solve them here in Cleveland.
Dr. King, you're aware of published reports that should Carl Stokes be elected mayor of the city of Cleveland, that you'll either have an office at City Hall or at least have an opportunity to dictate policies in that area. Would you care to comment on that?
Well, I saw the newsletter that was sent out, and it impressed me as being more racist motivated than anything else. Certainly, I would have no desire, nor would I have the capacity to dictate anything to City Hall.
Thanks in part to the help of Dr. King and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, Carl Stokes was elected mayor of Cleveland on November 7th, 1967. Actor and poet Avery Lamar Pope with a look back at this pivotal moment in Cleveland's political history.
I grew up watching sticks build backyard forts and hearing mama's words tear them down. I've seen hands peekaboo behind stones, and when bluffs are called, bones left unbroken. I've used sticks to play with, stones to paint on, and I've watched my father pray pain clear out of my body. I find that sticks, stones, and words all have something in common. All can break you, and all can build you. Cleveland knows something about both. Knows how to break the chokehold of racism through votes, stoke the flames of the community to weld colors together, kings to fuse together, let iron sharpen, let gazes blaze, let words encourage and enrage, see ballot and boldness band together, see the vote be the hammer, the voice be the anvil. Cleveland makes its enemies retreat because as a child, a double dog dare can shrink a fence down 2 feet. But some folks double the dog and dare you to stand flat-footed on 2 feet and still speak, still shout, still let freedom ring out as if kings can't architect their way into some straight-backed audacity. Can't talk bridges over bigoted brooks. Can't let their words carry them over troubled waters. I mean, this world was created through words. You think sticks and stones can break more than they can? build more than they can? Don't you see the power your voice has? Dr. King did.
I guess you're talking about the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and I do feel that we played a very significant part in this election. I hope I can say that in very modest terms.
Wow, very strong. Now, back to our unsung heroes. David Roth has been teaching in the Cleveland School District for 25 years. His third graders respect him. Christy Paul explains his genuine connection with his students by using learning as a tool for unification.
In a way, David Roth is a kid at heart.
There were summers I thought I was in Star Wars. And there were summers that I thought I was a spy because I chose what I could do. So in the classroom, I do ask them, hey, what book do you want?
I understand that Mr. Roth really likes books. Has he helped you like books too?
Yeah. I didn't like books not at all when I was in second grade, but now I love books.
I like to read books about gymnastics, about Simone Biles. She won lots of 19 medals in the Olympics.
Mr. Roth takes reading to a whole new chapter, taking his students each week to read to younger classrooms.
Well, the thing is, they think they're getting out of class, but they're doing exactly what I want them to do, is to read.
These kids aren't just learning in one language. They're being taught in both English and Spanish consistently.
Yes, we need to get them to learn English, and that is important in the United States. However, those Spanish children need to continue with their Spanish language, because if you take it away from them, hey, English, 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 I don't want to hear anything else. You rip out their heart, you rip out who they are, because that's where they started from.
David knows not every child is growing up in a home where they're getting the emotional support they need, but he knows teachers have the unique ability to show children they matter, they're capable, and they're loved.
I'm a single guy. They're my children.
Christy Paul, 3 News.
We bridge the divide through several ways, and I would say that when we look at the divide, it's a paradigm. It's a paradigm of inequity. So that same inequity that MLK was able to see up close and he was able to fight, we are seeing the same thing in the digital form.
Coming up, how a new initiative from a local nonprofit is trying to close the technology gap in Cleveland.
I have what my 2 hands can make. I have my passion, and I have the desire to want to make a difference. I can connect with Martin Luther King because he did that.
Plus, I spoke with an unsung hero who is using a creative approach to making learning fun for these brilliant young minds.
Wherever we live, in whatever city in our country, we're still at the bottom of the economic ladder. We have the worst paying jobs. And so often we have no jobs at all. Many of our people are unemployed. And by and large, we live in ghettos. We are segregated. 98% of the Negroes of Cleveland live in ghettos. And then all along with that goes inadequate educational opportunities.
The CEO of the local technology nonprofit Digital C believes the organization's programs are a natural evolution of Dr. King's dream. Cleveland's troubling digital divide was exposed during the pandemic, when important services like doctor appointments and job applications really shifted online.
Many city residents lacked access to high-speed internet. Our Danielle Wiggins spoke with Digital C's leader about the organization's latest move and what they're calling the digital civil rights movement.
So what you can see up there, is that white box, that is our access point that we put on the home.
Access is progress for Joshua Edmonds, the CEO of Cleveland's technology nonprofit, Digital C.
So that is how a household gets internet with us.
We're outside of a home in Cleveland's Fairfax neighborhood. We're inside.
How about that?
Carl and Carolyn Wilson are enjoying their access to Digital C's renamed internet service, Canopy, for just $18 a month.
It kind of like unites us with everybody else who are able to afford internet and other things.
And so that is our digital civil rights movement, ensuring that everybody, no matter where they live in the city of Cleveland, no matter their age, no matter their demographic, will be able to have the same price plan, the same quality of service, so that way that everybody will be able to compete fairly in our digital world.
According to a November AP News article, poorer, less white neighborhoods similar to Fairfax were found to have received lower investment in broadband infrastructure and offered worse deals for internet service than comparatively whiter and higher income areas.
And so what we sometimes say is the future is here, it's just been inequitably distributed.
In fact, Cleveland-based nonprofit Connect Your Community recently used FCC broadband data to show how Cuyahoga County's lowest income neighborhoods are more likely to get old and slow service from AT&T.
So these are the cables
These
over
are the
here?
cables that we have there.
Digital C is addressing this digital divide by building a citywide network in less than 18 months with a goal to acquire 3,500 new subscribers.
Every Cleveland household will be able to subscribe to Digital C's Canopy plan, which is $18 a month internet at symmetrical speeds at which people have never seen in this city.
Wow, the big, hairy, audacious goal there.
It absolutely is.
In Cleveland, Danielle Wiggins, 3 News.
And the long-awaited expansion of Digital C's services is being funded by a $20 million grant from the American Rescue Plan Act. The grant was awarded last September by the city of Cleveland.
Our next unsung hero is an educator, making it her mission to help our children use their creativity to learn. And there's a key piece to all of it: felt. Rahamel Hughes explains how she's making the fabric come alive.
That's kind of like a MO of mine. I have nothing and I come up with something.
And Rahamel Hughes continues to do that with a fun felt experience through her program Felt Smart. It started in 2009. Hughes had a desire to help children learn. She had a dream. Find a medium, change the world. And the idea of felt just felt right.
I'm able to manipulate it in so much a way that it looks expensive, and I'm able to create costumes and educational materials, and the kids can create with it.
And she created workshops serving local schools, daycares, community centers, and churches. With Felt, children create stories, dress up, act and dance in plays, learn to read, and express themselves.
What's important is about the children feeling good. In a time where mental health is so important, in addition to education being just as important, you have to bridge the two. You really can't do anything wrong when you're using your imagination and creating and just trying to navigate through education in a fun way.
And many before her have inspired her to work hard, to dream, to do.
I have what my 2 hands can make. I have my passion, and I have the desire to want to make a difference. I can connect with Martin Luther King because he did that. He did it in a way where people respected it.
And on Martin Luther King Jr. Day and every day, she continues to have that dream to help children learn and love themselves along the way.
I get chills about this. I can actually even cry. I definitely feel like this is my purpose.
She's awesome. Rahamel credits her daughter as the spine behind this project. Her daughter has a passion like mom, and together they hope to inspire this community and way beyond. Her goal is to put on large plays with children using felt, and we know she will surely get there.
When others applaud you and affirm what you're doing in the city that you love, it's special.
Up next, we'll introduce you to our Drum Major for Change Award recipient and what she considers one of the proudest moments of her life when it comes to giving back to her hometown.
And being a superhero, it's about more than what you do for a living.
And we honor the unsung heroes of our community through another powerful spoken word. Stay with us. You're watching our special presentation, Dr. King, Building Bridges, Breaking Barriers, only on WKYC.
Welcome back. On February 4th, 1968, exactly 2 months before an assassin would claim the life of Dr. King, he delivered a powerful sermon at Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta.
The title of the sermon was The Drum Major Instinct. He urged his congregation to seek greatness through service and love. Part of his sermon reads as follows. Yes, if you want to say that I was a drum major, say that I was a drum major for justice. Say that I was a drum major for peace. I was a drum major for righteousness. And all the other shallow things will not matter.
In what has become an annual tradition for the Cleveland Public Library, they've selected this year's honoree for their Drum Major for Change Award. Here's a look into the life of businesswoman, entrepreneur, speaker, and philanthropist Connie Hill Johnson.
I'm a Cleveland girl, so there's something about home that sits well with me, and I have to be here.
Connie Hill Johnson says she's always been driven to make a difference. What does it mean to you that you are making these changes? You're a drum major for change, if I can't say that, in your hometown.
Yeah. You know, I think I don't have my parents anymore. They're both gone on to heaven, and I sometimes can't believe where I sit right now. My mom used to always say, you never know who's watching you. Just continue to do the work. So when others applaud you and affirm what you're doing in the city that you love, it's special.
Connie credits her mother for her commitment to literacy. She just finished serving as co-chair of the citywide Cleveland Reads campaign with the Cleveland Public Library. So as a little girl in Glenville, this is never something that crossed your mind. No idea that this would be your path.
No. I'm an entrepreneur also, so I've had my business for 21 years.
Among her many hats, Connie is owner and managing director of Visiting Angels Senior Home Care. She's also a committed philanthropist and was instrumental in establishing the Celebrate Those Who Give Black exhibit at the Cleveland Public Library.
When I think of probably one of the proudest moments of my life, it has been my involvement with a group of folk here in Cleveland who wanted to change the narrative around what philanthropy really looks like.
2 years ago, Connie was elected chair of the Cleveland Foundation, the first black woman in the organization's 110-year history to hold that post.
To hear people from that Huff community say to me, when we saw your picture, face as the chairperson of the board of directors for the Cleveland Foundation, people are watching.
It clearly touches you as well.
It does.
There are a lot of people out there, I'm sure you've met some of them, who want to be the next Connie Hill Johnson. What advice would you have for them?
Lead with your heart. Lead with your heart. Now you have to know something. You have to have a little bit of smarts. But lead with your heart. Be authentic. Let people know who you really are. Just be you.
What an amazing interview. Up next, using art to create compassion for others. A look at one local initiative that's inspiring positive change.
I want to plant the seed like my mom did. Plant that seed of entrepreneurship, and one day I see the harvest like, oh, I see you now.
This unsung hero teaches young kids in Glenville the spirit of entrepreneurship and ways they can help the environment.
Inspiring hope, paving the way for a better future. These are principles often associated with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
A local initiative has been honoring those same principles for 7 years. Here's a look at the drive to impact social change through the Art for Justice program.
For Justice Fund was established in 2017. It really occurred through a transformative gift of Agnes Gund, who is an art philanthropist based in New York City, but she was born in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland's story is a lot of cities' story, and that we have the opportunity to do something that's really important with this work.
The fund and the team of Art for Justice came to Cleveland to look for partners that work in the criminal justice reform issue.
We're doing projects with artists who will be engaging with Cleveland residents and telling stories about our city and our community. What I love about the library is that it accepts everyone, no matter what, all the time. And I hope that in bringing more projects like the Art for Justice initiatives to our branches, that more people can see their experiences reflected artistically in the spaces that we're in.
Youth learn in all these alternative ways, and getting them involved with art, projects like this or other projects, gives them more mediums to express themselves, to learn, to relay their experiences.
Art does what words can't. You can have like a full sensory experience with an artwork that you can't have with words.
It's important for all of us at a level of philanthropy to a level of day-to-day folks walking across the street that visit the library. We all have a part to play.
Dr. King's legacy, I think, lives on in the mission of the Cleveland Public Library and our work to be the People's University.
Coming up, mission statement. Several board members of the Cleveland Public Library talk about moving the needle forward in the fight against racism.
Plus, carrying the torch by teaching sustainable living for a community she loves dearly. You're watching our special presentation, Dr. King, Building Bridges, Breaking Barriers.
On that famous game-changing day in August of 1963, Dr. King said he had a dream that his 4 little children would one day live in a nation where they would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. A topic inspiring both an award and an interesting dialogue with several members of the Cleveland Public Library. Michael Young has more.
The only way we get to both understand the differences about other people and the sameness, the essential human dignity and character of every human being, is to know and read and understand diverse stories.
The Anisfield Wolf Collection will move from Main Library to the Martin Luther King Jr. branch when it opens.
Anisfield Wolf decided on the award to honor her father and her husband.
It's the only book award focused on making sure that we combat racism.
It's important for its home to be at the new Martin Luther King branch because it allows us to connect Dr. King's legacy with everything that the book award has stood for in its 88 years of existence.
But there's another connection between Anisfield Wolf and the library.
As a board member here at our Cleveland Public Library, I sit in a seat that Edith Anisfield Wolf once sat in.
And so that she was connected to the library and the library is connected to this award is very important.
Anisfield Wolf's and King's legacies live on through the library's work.
The totality of Dr. King's work, he really challenged us to think about what does community mean.
Because we're a place of equity, a place of opportunity, a place of expanding and seeing the bridges to the future, and the bridges that unite people, not just the river or the mountain that divides them.
Our next unsung hero is a community activist and longtime business owner. Carmen Blackwell with more on her efforts to promote a healthy, green community in honor of Dr. King.
She's devoted to creating a clean, green economy. Victoria Trotter is a community activist and entrepreneur.
When people talk about Cleveland, I get an attitude. I love Cleveland. Cleveland's one of my favorite spaces because I see the opportunities all around us.
Paving the way for Glenville's youth, one seed at a time. She's the former CEO of Trotter's Dry Cleaners, a family-owned business that operated in the Glenville community since 1969 and thrived for over 50 years as the first eco-friendly dry cleaning service in the Cleveland area. Now she leads Green Movement Glenville, a nonprofit project that she created for the community and its youth to learn more about green living and eco-friendly practices.
I'm teaching them how to grow food. I'm teaching them how to think about business. I'm teaching them how to think about opportunity. And Martin Luther King said this, and it's one of my favorite quotes, and I'll paraphrase. He said, if you really haven't done anything on the planet, really not helping anything, just a waste of person on the planet. We came here to help each other.
And while she stands as a modern-day advocate for a clean living Cleveland, her work continues.
I want to create millionaires. I want to create successful people. I want to create people that come back and give back, that understand the importance of giving back to your community.
Carmen Blackwell, 3 News.
The general public, I think, sometimes thinks of artists as these kind of recluses, or, you know, maybe they're a little introverted. Someone like Dale Good is not introverted. He's a delight to be around.
Coming up, more with this unsung hero who has been serving up art with a touch of charisma for more than half a century. His unique story is straight ahead. King Day is meant to be a day of service, encouraging Americans to volunteer and improve their communities.
Kiara Cotton introduces us to Dale A. Good, a local man using his art to fulfill that mission.
It's one thing when an artist has incredible work, but it's another thing when their personality matches the artwork.
Dale A. Good knows how to make an entrance.
Yo, Kiara, love you guys. Oh, I'm sorry.
But even without saying a word, Dale's artwork speaks for itself.
I would say the work is challenging. I would like to think the bodies of work, especially with the large canvases that I'm beginning to cut down into smaller pieces, stops individuals when they come into the gallery to really look and observe the work.
A Cleveland native, Dale has been honing his craft and advocating for the arts over 50 years. Dale has been a featured artist at Hedge Gallery under Hillary Gent's guidance for the past 3 years. It's a place where he feels appreciated.
She shows different work. She shows challenging work.
He's a very prolific artist. He's always in his studio making, so he had a huge portfolio of work to show me, and I just thought, I think now's the time. He's ready to show.
Fighting the good fight, Dale has wisdom for those following his path that he hopes sticks even after he's made his exit.
Don't give up. Stay focused. Everyone is not going to like your work, but the best thing you can do is put that work out there, show it and exhibit, and someone's going to see it and buy it.
Kiara Cotton, 3 News.
We hope you have enjoyed learning more about the extraordinary work of 5 unsung heroes we profiled. They personify the spirit of Dr. King by using their lives to inspire a better America. Ciara Freeman pays special tribute to them and the countless unsung heroes around Northeast Ohio.
There are heroes amongst us, Cleveland. Cleveland, home of Superman. Cleveland, city of superhumans. And what is a superhero but a person who dares to try over and over and over again? A person with a green thumb grows a community garden, and the neighborhood hunger beast is slayed. An artist creates a mural. The barbers and beauticians use their bare hands to steady us for funerals, to ready us for weddings. And being a superhero, it's about more than what you do for a living, being a superhero. Cleveland, it's about what you do for the living.
She is a superhero.
She really is.
We hope that you've enjoyed our exclusive presentation of Dr. King, Building Bridges, Breaking Barriers.
We're going to leave you with more from his visits to Cleveland, followed by a closing hymn from the local chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha, the fraternity of which Dr. King was a proud member.
Something is wrong with Cleveland, and something is wrong with all of our cities. We have marching power. We've done it all over the South, and we can do it right here in Cleveland and everywhere. Did you know that 58% of the Negro young men of the city of Cleveland are either unemployed or making wages below the poverty level? We are seeking to make America one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Fraternal spirit mind, all the noble, the true and courageous, manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind are the aims of our dear fraternity. Alpha Phi Alpha, a pride of our hearts, and loved by us dearly art thou. We'll cherish